The ASA Tour in Columbia County, Appling, Georgia is brought to you by Vortex Optics and Black Eagle Arrows.
Welcome back as we are a quarter of the way through our shoot downs here in Appling, Georgia. Let's get right to Chuck Cooley, who's going to introduce our next class.
Welcome to the second shoot-off for today, the men's senior pro. Our number 5 qualifier with a 403 and 12 bonus rings, Brian Barley from Jonesboro, Arkansas, shooting for PSE. Our number 4 qualifier from Waxhaw, North Carolina, shooting for Bowtech with a 412 and 11 bonus rings, Keith Ahlstrom. Our number 3 qualifier from Keller, Texas, shooting for PSE with 414 and 13 bonus rings, Michael Braden. Our number 3 qualifier is Tim Gillingham from Provo, Utah. And our number 2 qualifier is Michael Braden. And your number 1 qualifier, shooting an amazing 20 up today, a 419 with 16 bonus rings, from Atala, Alabama, Alan Connor, shooting for Martin.
All right, so there we go.
All right, thank you, Chuck.
Alan Connor.
With a 1-point lead.
The man, the myth, the legend. He has a, I think it's been mentioned, he has a 3-digit ASA number. I mean, he is.
Tell us about a 3-digit. What does that mean?
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Well, the ASA was.
I think I have 5.
Became a national tour in 1993, if my memory serves correct. And I only know of a couple of guys out here that have a lower ASA number than what he has, and those would actually be at 2-digit. So they just did it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as people signed up. So he has been around this game a long time, won at all kinds of ASA tournaments, classic championships, and he's doing it still in the senior pro division.
All right, we're sending it right now. Brian Barley won ASA Metropolis back in 2014.
I gotta think he was shooting at that 14 on that one. Just come up a little light on the number.
Oh yeah, Brian Barley, who's at 3 up, some 16 points behind Alan Connor. He was another one who told me.
12 for Alan Connor.
Like it.
On the tape here.
Alan Connor, 1994 Open Pro Shooter of the Year. 2004 Open Pro Classic Champion. I mean, he is just.
I gotta tell you, Greg, he was one of my heroes when I was a kid shooting in
right?
the ASA tournaments.
That's so awesome.
I used to love watching him shoot. Still do.
Michael Braden in with a 12. Of course, when we look at Shooter of the Year, you have in the senior pro class, you have Tony Tazza that's got a 1248, who's not here. Michael Braden at a 1238 and Dwayne Price at a 1227, not here either. So this is an opportunity for Braden to really start to pull away.
Gillingham with a 12 of his own.
Tim Gillingham. Tim Gillingham, the ball-peen hammer. The hammer Gillingham is going for it. He always does. And, when they got off the range, when they were done, we got to do some quick interviews with them. And it was really cagey. He was trying to be cagey about it. And, of course, Braden and Connor were just like, we know what's coming from Tim. He's going to be gunning. He's going to be going for it. He just goes by feel. I think Tim doesn't come in with a solid plan. He just feels out each arrow and what he's going to do, and then he just goes for it.
So Keith got a 12 there. Brian shot an 8. So 4 out of our 5 shoot-off competitors shot 12s. So it's game on for these guys.
Let's talk about how important that first arrow is when you are judging distance.
Yeah, it's so critical because it is your gauge of how you measured each target. If you start off and you're low, well then the instant reaction by me is always, well, if I judge this one low, I probably judged them all a little low.
Mm-hmm.
If you get the first one right, I'm on.
Confidence goes
You got
high.
it.
All
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and that makes the shot so much easier when you know how far it is in this setting. Don't get me wrong; it's still a challenge to make the shot, but when you have the confidence that you got it right, you can make the shot just a lot easier with less tension in the shot. So, someone pinwheeled a 12 on that one.
They sure did. So in the senior pro class so far this year, in Foley, Michael Braden won, and then Tim Gillingham in Benning, and Tony Tazza there in Texas.
Brian Barley redeems himself from the last one and shoots a 14 on the tapier.
Brian Barley with a great shot. HVAC contractor out of Arkansas.
Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. You familiar with the area?
I am. I live in northwest Arkansas, the other side of the state, but
really nice conversation with him about his shooting and what he likes to do away from archery. He likes to hunt, as you would expect. A lot of these archers, it's part of what gets them into the sport.
Absolutely.
Ultimately.
Brian shooting a new PSE. Obviously taken to it very well.
Yeah, Brian's shooting that PSE Response, which is a really economically priced bow, and he just loves it. And a lot of shooters have had a lot of success with it. Somewhere in the, I think it's the $7.99 price range.
Yeah, very affordable.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, good for target archery, not just a hunting bow like a lot of people would categorize that bow.
All right, so it looks like we've had a change at the top of the leaderboard. 441 now for Connor, 442 for Braden. Gillingham sitting at a 436, Ahlstrom at 32, and Barley at a 25. So now Braden, for the moment, in control of this one.
Yeah, Braden had shot the 12 on the Wolf. That's probably, I don't know if it's the closest, it might be the second closest target in the shoot-off. And now he's moving on to the Javelina, so he's got his work cut out for him on this one. And Allen will actually be shooting the shorter Wolf target here, so he has an opportunity to take the lead back.
There's a good look at Alan Connor.
Shooting a Martin.
Yeah. We switch over to Keith Ahlstrom. This is his rookie year, by the way. So you're looking at senior pro rookie. 7 years of competition. He's had a win in semi-pro, a win in Open A, but this is his first one.
He took a chance there on the taper. He was actually shooting at the 14. I think he went a little bit high. Probably going to be a 5. Yeah. But, in his position, if you're going to make a move, you got to do it on, or you feel like you need to do it on the ones that are closer. And on that taper, it's a white target where the 14 is at, and so there's dots already in there where people have hit around it. So it's good reference points for aiming.
I was looking at Alan Connor adjusting his sight, the eight-time Pro-Am champion in his career. It was the thing that I love about the senior pro class is that when I had them all lined up to do the interview with him, they were all really happy for Alan Connor.
Oh, yeah.
Just to have him back and to have him back in form. And what Alan did to get here was pretty astonishing. For those that didn't keep score, Alan Connor was one down yesterday. He was one down. He shot 20 up today to put himself at the top of the leaderboard initially at 19 up.
Yeah, that's
and
blistering
he did that with 2.8s today.
Yeah, that's just blistering it.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched him get hot before like that so many times. And when he's on, he is an animal.
Javelina.
That's a close one.
Mm-hmm.
Our leader.
This is our leader with a 10, so it's going to move him to 452 for Michael Braden.
And depending on what Tim
So Allen shot an 8 on that turkey a second ago.
Dropping a couple more points.
I really don't know if he was shooting at the 14 or if he was shooting at the upper 12. I didn't see what he called. He was in line with the 14, just under it. So he might have been going for the win.
So
Maybe a little early to go for it like that, but you know, as an archer, you pick and choose which ones that you feel like you can hit. So
and this game is not just about shot execution and not just about judging yardage. It is a game of understanding where the target is, where the rings are. Right. I mean, it's, you know, you got to make your moves when you have them. So Barley now with a 33, just 4 points behind Alstrom, and up top, Braden's starting to pull away as Gillingham has now moved into second spot with a 48. Things are getting really chippy here at the True Ball and Vortex Pro-Am.
Gillingham with a 14.
Unbelievable. The hammer does it again, going for it.
Braden with an 8 there. So that leaves...
what a shift.
Yeah, I think Gillingham just took the lead.
8 to 12? That's going to be a
8 to 14.
8 to 14. So that's a 6-point swing. So there it is. So could Gillingham, and he's by the way just giving a nice fist bump to the crowd and standing at 9'7". Everyone can see Gillingham.
You see that spot they just showed there on the tape here. Now it's actually got a couple of dots there, and when Tim can see where to hold, that makes it 10 times more likely that he's going to hit it.
And the thing about the tapier target too is that it definitely shoots different depending on which way you face that target, because you have that black and white line going right down the middle.
Yeah, when you're shooting at the 12 ring, the upper and the lower, it's separated by that black line and white line.
So Barley with an 8. So a big move the arrow before for Barley, now with an 8 on that one will settle him in. So resetting the scores up top. It's now Tim Gillingham who should be leading once we get things all squared away. So that's going to move Gillingham. Gillingham's going to move over to the turkey. That one's quite a poke, too. It's all the way down by the water.
Yeah, at this point, it would just really shock me if Gillingham doesn't have his numbers right. Because after you've shot several of these targets, you've dialed in to what these targets are, and you have the feel of how much further or how much behind one target is from the next. So he's already shot the long ones. So he's moving into some of the shorter ones. Actually, the tapier was the shortest. And so now he's stepping back out to another long one. It would just really shock me if he made a yardage mistake.
And for Tim Gillingham, he had to rebuild his bow last night as he found a little delamination in one of his limbs, so he wanted to be safe. So he rebuilt that bow and then worked on it, and so he went from...
Well, let me tell you something about Tim.
Yeah.
He probably did that the day before just because he wanted to do it anyway. The guy can take things apart and build them as fast as anybody out here, and I've heard him say numerous times, it's just equipment. It doesn't matter. He knows that he's the driving fuel behind that bow. He's the driving force. It's a good look at Allen there.
Yeah, it was a good non-shot, a good letdown.
Yep. Getting weak in that back arm. Shooting that B3 release.
You can see left part of your screen, Gillingham at a 62, Braden at a 60, Connor now at a 51.
Ooh.
He went for it. Disappointment on his face.
Yeah, just come up short. Come up short on the distance.
All right, so the first one we should have on the taper is going to be Michael Braden.
Solid 10. Right there is that black and white line we were just talking about.
So 470 for Michael Braden. Trying to be our first repeat winner.
We got some sun popping out now behind the clouds. So that's going to change things on the targets a little bit. See the sunlight and the shadows and everything that's on the target now. That could actually affect the way people aim at these targets from here on out if the sun stays out. Especially if these guys are shooting high-power lenses.
Again, that 14 just that close.
That's going to be a 5.
5 for Keith.
Hey, you know what? This is his debut. You know, it's Keith, that rookie. So you got to give different things a go. Got to give it a try.
Yeah, no doubt.
Barley with the 10, so that should move him up a spot.
You know, here's the thing. When you're in any of these classes, if you get to the top 5, the reality is you don't get many opportunities to be there. So if you just come out here and you shot safe, you'd walk away, if you didn't win, you'd walk away thinking, man, I just wish I'd have tried harder. So these guys shooting at these 14s and things like that, the reason why is because you don't know when the next opportunity's coming. You got to lay it all out there and give it everything you got. Because if I'm out there, I want to know I at least tried with everything that I had.
So we're going to that 6th arrow. That was quick. It felt quick to you?
Yeah, it did seem like it moved pretty smooth.
Okay, we got the deer out. We're using my logo again as the T.
So we've got 2 shooters to actually shoot a 6th and final arrow. Tim and Michael Braden.
My logo, our logo, the Shooter's Choice logo.
Going to move that HD deer out. And right now, as you mentioned, Nathan Brooks, it's in the sun. At least most of it is, because you can see the back end is shadowed. Would that make a difference? Because you talked earlier in the broadcast about how you judge using the animal's body, that size. So does it half in sun, half shadowed? Would that even make a difference?
It can make a difference because if you're not seeing the full animal, the top or the bottom, because of shadows, that can definitely make the target appear to be thinner from top to bottom. So that would affect the way you judge the target. But again, I think these guys are probably pretty dialed in at this point, considering they've shot 5 targets out here right now. They've probably got all this figured out. The sun being on the target with these guys, Tim and Michael, I know they both shoot lenses, and typically Tim shoots a really high power lens. So he's going to be able to see the rings because the sun's on. See, see how good we can see them now?
Yeah.
And that shot, that's going to be, that's like having your cake and eating it too for Tim. And so I'm not saying that the advantage tips to Tim here, because Michael is obviously more than capable of shooting 14s, 12s at any point in time. But I know that I've watched Tim in this situation a lot, and he's done really well. But again, Michael is more than capable of winning this tournament with a 12 or a 14, either one.
So congratulations to Keith Ahlstrom. He'll take 5th in this one, as Brian Barley worked his way up from 5th to 4th. And our leader coming in here, Alan Connor, he'll have to settle for 3rd in this one. So it's time to get this thing settled for the 2019 True Ball and Vortex Pro-Am Senior Pro Champion. And it looks like it should be, Michael Braden's going to go first, do you think, or Tim?
Braden will go first because he is behind Tim.
Would it ever be
total
dealer's choice, or is it always going to be like that?
No, it's going to always be like that.
Okay. So Michael Braden's going to line up. And we know that Braden, my guess is if he wants to try to win this thing with Tim Gillingham behind the bow as his competitor, I'm thinking 12 or a 14 to put the pressure on. And we have seen Michael Braden do this before.
I'd shoot it at 14. Look at the mark he's got out over there on the 14. Plus, he can probably see it. So what if he shoots an 8?
Great.
If he
already got 2nd now.
Yeah, if he shoots a 14, it puts the pressure on Tim to have to shoot a 14 to beat him, 12 to tie.
Does he have the yardage and the shot?
Michael shooting his Carter release, strapped up tight. Oh, shot at the 12. It's
okay.
It's
Shot
interesting. I'd really expected him to shoot at the 14, but came up a little bit short. So that's an 8. Tim's got to hit an 8 for the win.
So that's going to take him to 478. So 8 or better, and Tim Gillingham will be our first repeat winner of 2019 in the Senior Pro class.
I think I just saw him lick his lips.
Oh,
there
he
it
called
was.
upper. He really just shoot it in the middle, Tim.
Tim don't play that way. He shoots every shot with purpose.
I love it. The confidence. I mean, you're that tall anyway, shooting downhill. I would call upper too.
Yeah. He's amazing.
Boom.
Got it.
And he got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Every arrow with purpose.
That's right. Called upper, he got upper. So congratulations to Tim Gillingham, the Hammer.
A great shoot-off.
Great shoot-off. He's your 2019 True Ball and Vortex Pro-Am champ in the senior pro class after coming back from third. Tim Gillingham is able to make up the deficit of 5 points on Alan Connor and leapfrog his competition to take victory. Outstanding job by Tim. What a weekend it's been. He's had good days, both days, but talk to us about struggling with judging distance in the woods, but he's able to come out here and get it done. Now we're gonna get to hear from Tim as he's hanging out with PJ.
All right, Tim, tell us about that. You came in kind of middle of the pack and rose to the top there at the end.
Well, I was a little nervous, judging across the stuff. That's probably been my nemesis today. I really hammered the yardages, pretty good. So everything just kind of went as scripted. I did miss the turkey by a couple yards, but, I was in a position where I didn't have to really go hard at it. I dropped pretty hard on the javelina. I misjudged it, and so, you just make adjustments as you go, and everything just kind of worked out, and, sometimes they just go that way.
How about this has to feel like some redemption? Last week you came in, or 2 weeks ago, you came in with a big lead, and it didn't go your way, but this time you did.
Yeah, it's a tough field. You're trying to, all day for 2 days to catch up to these guys, and it's not working out, and, you got 5 left to do it. So, it worked out, and I can't be more excited.
All right, Tim, congratulations.
All right, thank you.
All right, so there you go. Tim Gillingham getting it done here in Appling, Georgia. And Nathan Brooks, you talked about it. There's a little distraction on the lake for you. These shooters just getting focused, dialed in. And congratulations to Tim Gillingham. Michael Braden will take second. Alan Connor will be third. Good to see him back in here at the top. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, more action coming at you from the True Ball and Vortex Pro-Am.
Got the upper.
Get in the red zone. Carbon Express's small diameter Maxima Red SD, taking big game hunting to an all-new level, making other competitors' single spine arrows obsolete. Patented tri-spine technology controls arrow flight, delivering better downrange energy and accuracy, all in a small diameter shaft. Think you're shooting the best hunting arrow in the game? Think again. Stay in the red zone. Assume nothing and shoot Carbon Express.
We don't build these bows to be different. We build them to be better. We're the outsiders, the mavericks, the fearless. We forge our own path. We're not chasing anyone, but we know what they're running from. It's an obsession, and the obsessed never rest.